back to another episode of the Occasionally Accountable podcast.
Yeah.
Brought to you by these popping curls.
Motherfucking geek.
Hi, how are you? How's it going?
Who sponsored your curls?
The hair store.
What
the
cream?
Beauty supply.
What creams was you out there using?
Right now, actually, I'm using that pattern by
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Shout out to our future sponsorship.
I mean, I
Say
like
that.
I don't do my hair, natural hair, enough to know if it worked or didn't work. But I feel like it was. I supported a black-owned business. I don't know.
Things happen, and we here.
It was washed, I think. But yeah, so that's what I was using.
That's litty. That's litty.
Yeah.
I'm good. I am exhausted. And I think that that'll lend to an interesting thought process today.
I'm tired too, but like in a weird way. Like I'm not physically tired, but like mentally, I'm like
I'm all of the tired.
I don't want to do anything today.
I am physically tired. I am mentally tired. I am creatively tired. I am all the tired.
But you look good for tired.
Thank you very
You look
much.
damn good for tired. You should be tired all the time.
No,
I wish
don't.
exhaustion.
Don't speak that over my life.
Just kidding.
Lord, keep the devils away from me. Niggas praying on my downfall.
I bet your skin is glowing for real.
Thank you. I have been working out more and drinking more water this week and taking my vitamins every day.
Good for you.
And I'm weirdly more exhausted.
What vitamins do you take?
I take the ones from my chiropractor that are like they're the bougie extra. Yeah, the prescribed whatever. And I want to get back to my CMOS at some point when I can get to North Node Sanctuary out here. And there's one I wanted to start taking. Is it ashwagandha, the mushroom?
Have you tried that before?
I've taken like mushroom. I've done the mushroom coffee before.
I've not done that.
But I want to take specifically ashwagandha. I started taking. They said a natural pre-workout is you take pink Himalayan salt and honey and water.
I have both of those things. I should try that.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't make you. It's not. I tried it. It made the workout. I fatigued less, but it did it. It's not like it's not giving you the cracky feeling.
That's the
pre-workout.
best part of the pre-workout.
That's what I was gonna say.
That
You
part.
may not fuck with it
I like
because that's the part that I hate. I hate the cracky part, but I like the what is it? Not your stamina, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
like you can last longer and not be stressed.
That might be stamina.
Okay,
maybe.
Shit, yeah. Shout out Blue
Last
Chew. No, I'm just playing.
Long-lasting stamina. I've tried ashwagandha, and I did like it, but I had night sweats really bad with it. I didn't like that, so I had to stop.
That's that shit where they say sage your house and if shit go wrong, you the devil.
I wake up like so I stopped taking it, but I was also smoking at the time, so I'm like I don't know if it was like the ashwagandha or the bud. So I'm not a good. I wasn't
You're
a good
hella old. Go
test
ahead.
subject. Now that I stopped, now I'm a boomer. The marijuana.
How old are you? How are you?
I am good. I'm just like I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. Just kind of I'm not bad. I'm not good. A lot of
That's wild. You've had a lot of good shit happen this month.
Yeah, that's why I'm like I'm not bad for sure. I can look around and I'm not bad.
You're so ungrateful. Jesus Christ.
I
just put a clip out yesterday.
I don't feel bad, and I am very grateful, but I'm just kind of like, You know what? I don't know if this is true for you, but like when good things happen to me, it takes me a minute to like settle in it. I don't know why. Like I got a new job, and I've just been kind of been like, and then every once in a while I'm like, oh shit. But then most of the time I'm like, I don't know what that is. My birthday's coming up. I'm excited, but like I just still feel very like, medium. I don't know
Interesting.
why. I don't know what that's about.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I'm not sad, but I'm just not like, whoa! So, sorry. Sorry, guys. That was loud.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so this week we wanted to this is my episode. I wanted to talk about kind of a little bit about that feeling a little bit of just like I've had a couple of conversations this week with people that I care about and with birthdays happening and just like things happening in my life. There's been a lot of things that have been happening outside of my control. And I realized, like, I have a really hard time. I know. Like,
you know how that is with you.
I know, I don't like
we
that.
need a button for that.
I know. Becky, you know what to do. But yeah, and I don't like that feeling. But I realized, like, I also have a really hard time trusting people with myself. Like, I have a hard time sharing positive things. Like, you said earlier, like, I told you about my job and then I, like, just disappeared. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, but I just have a really hard time trusting people with me. And so I just wanted to talk about that and, like, trusting other people that you care about with your feelings and with yourself. I think sometimes I feel like maybe it's too big or it's too much, or maybe it'll come across as bragging, or I don't know. It's not that I'm not grateful, but it almost feels like, why me? Like, why is this happening to me? Like, it just doesn't feel like it should be happening to me. So I feel weird.
Do you feel like it's an imposter syndrome thing?
Maybe it is. And like, not to say that bad things happen in my life, but like, I don't remember a time in a while where like a lot of good things were happening. And so I have this feeling of like, the shoe is finna drop. The shoe is coming down. And I realize I keep looking for that shoe to drop. And it's...
Which means you about to manifest that
dampering,
shit. Switch up that mind.
Right? And it's
dampering. A buzzkill.
It's dampering my experience. Like, it's dampering my ability to really, like, sit in this moment and be like, wow, like, things are good.
Mm-hmm.
Things are good. So I don't know if you've ever felt that way.
Yeah. Trying to think. I don't know that I'm like overly like when too many things are going good, I'm like, is this shoe about to drop? I think I'm more like, I don't always pay attention enough to know that a lot of things are going good. Mm-hmm. Like, I think I'm a very like, I'm always chipping away at something, at making something new or better or blah 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 blah, that I don't like I don't know that I give the thought and attention to, like, in this moment, so many beautiful things are always, like, I try to do that with my, like, gratitude in the morning every day, but I don't think I have that experience where I look up and go, everything's perfect, or a lot of things are happening, and, like, now I'm nervous that, like, something bad is going to happen. But I do want to get to is, like, I think both of them are rooted in the same thing, which is, like, more or less a scarcity mindset, right? So, like, being able to sit in abundance and have a mindset of abundance, which is different than just like, oh, I'm getting things. Like, to have a mindset that, like, I'm always receiving what I need to receive. I always have everything I need, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's a mindset shift that's hard to make because of a lot of different reasons that, like, contribute to that. But, like, it is a shift in your brain to have to go, like, I don't have to worry about what's going to happen. Like, things are happening exactly how they need to happen.
One of the things that I love about this podcast is, like, a lot of times when we talk about something, at some point we have to use the things that we talk about. And one of the things you said, I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, but, like, normalizing peace, normalizing positivity. And that, I think, in this phase of my life has really been something I've had to shift to, is, like, normalizing that, like, it's okay to have a healthy friend group. It's okay to have a job where you're not stressed. It's okay to have, like, a healthy relationship, and not seek to find all of the issues in it, or continually, like, poke at it, you know? I think there's, like, a balance between wanting to improve your life, but then also, like, being grateful for where you are. And I think sometimes I'll trick myself into thinking, like, oh, I'm just, like, improving, but really I'm, like, nitpicking, or, like, really I'm like not being grateful. Honestly, it's not being grateful for where I am in the moment.
Do you feel like if you get like, let's say the shoe did drop, right? We are not putting that in the universe, but let's say you fully went blessing security. Let's say you fully went into being excited about all of the things. Let's say you went into that, and let's say a shoe did drop, right? Would that change anything? Would that affect anything?
Depends on what kind of shoe it is. Is it Louboutin that drop, or is it like a tennis shoe? Like how drastic
First of all,
is it?
the sneakers are more important than Louboutins.
That's
But, no, I'm just like, no, I mean like, would you? So if you are holding back yourself from feeling the full excitement because a shoe might possibly drop, right? Let's say the other option is you fully go into your excitement and then a shoe does drop. Does the fact that you held back over here make this shoe dropping any less good or bad or amazing or whatever?
No.
Like, it just, the shit is gonna come, so like, why
Yeah.
not bask and turn up in the turn up?
Yeah, I mean, that is true. I think one of the things that I need to continue to work on is like how to accept the good things.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like actually how to accept it. And I notice myself, like when people would be like, oh, Brianna, like congratulations on your new position, I'd be like, oh, well, I barely made it in. Like I like
Yes.
I say stuff
Yes.
that like
Mm-hmm.
you know the word I'm saying.
I know what you mean, and that I do, yes.
Yeah, and it's like I have to literally, like, lately I've had to catch myself and just be like, thank you. And be done, you know? Like, and that's really hard. Or like with this whole, all this birthday stuff, like all these stuff are going on, and I was texting a friend and she was like, Brianna, we're doing this because we care about you. Like, get out of it. Leave it alone. Like, and I'm like, wait, but you don't need my help, and oh my gosh, it's too much. And they're like, stop. Like, what are you doing?
Like, why are you here?
Why are you worried
No one
about
invited
this?
you.
Like, literally. And
just show up, bitch.
I've had to like really fight that feeling of like just like accepting the good things. And that's weird.
So then maybe yes, maybe circling back around, I do struggle with that. Like, I struggle with receiving.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, so my two really close friends were in town for the last 2 days, and the whole concept of it has been hard for me to even really receive when I think about it. Like, y'all came out here to see me. Like, y'all didn't just, like, we were out doing some shit and we passed through Dallas and we stopped by. Like, y'all literally packed up y'all busy ass lives and was like, we're going to intentionally come and see you. And they did. And then the whole time, it's my friend and her boyfriend, who's also my really good friend, though. So, like, it's our little, like, they're part of my tribe, for real. And every time we went to go do something, like, he took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or he would, like, when he was like, oh, like, I'll drive, I'll take this. Or they were like, hey, what do you want to do? And they were just like, they came and they poured into me. And they made sure we went out and we did the things. And it was taken care of and all those things. And the whole time, I just felt so like, well, like let me make sure that this is this. And we have a place to go. And wait, no, let me pay for this thing. And he looking at me like, bitch,
chill.
Get out the way. So I can do something nice for you.
Do that?
Like, get out the fucking way.
It feels so cringy, but why?
You know, one thing that I constantly debate in my head is that, like, it's kind of this concept of, like, I feel like I'm too far on one end of the spectrum when it comes to, like, if an opportunity comes to, like, capitalize on something that, like, I didn't, like, put in on, I feel weird. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm too far on that spectrum because the reality is, like, I don't think my only value in life is based on what I can produce. Like, I shouldn't feel like the only reason I deserve this thing is because of what I did for it. Like, like, I should accept that there are things in life that are going to come to me that are simply blessings, or simply because someone loves you. Like, both of these people, we all, like, that's family. We all love each other. So they're like, let me just come and love on you because I want to. Like, and I'm like, well, at least let me buy it. And he's like, bros. And she looked at me like, bitch, if you don't sit down somewhere. Like,
we all end up in McDonald's. Stop.
No, she didn't look at me crazy, but she was just like flowing with it. She was like, oh, thanks, babe. Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there being like, I don't even think I know what to do with this right now.
Yeah. It's weird. That made me think of this TikTok, or maybe it was an Instagram clip that I saw, but it was talking about how, like, we tend to, like, try to manipulate God by, like, saying, oh, well, I'm going to do this good thing, I'm going to pray this many times, and then the blessing's going to come down. And we think that it's like, I do this, then I get this. But, like, the reason why we're blessed is not because of the things that we do, but it's just because it is.
Yeah.
And, like, that is a really hard thing to accept because again, you have no control over that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I scratch your back so you scratch my back. It's like if you're around people that love and care about you, they'll see the need and they'll meet it, and you have to trust that. And I think learning how to trust people in my circle to do that is something that I have to continually work on.
We had the meetup this past Wednesday, the podcast one, and I was telling them, I was like, sometimes I struggle with feeling like worthy of the things that I want. And I think that has a part of it, like some part of it is like you need to understand that you're worthy simply from your existence and being created by a creator. Like you don't have to do to be worthy. You get to exist as worthy. And
which is dope.
Yes,
cool.
But it's hard to accept. But I think part of what might make it hard to accept, and this is a guess, I'm not a therapist or a psychologist or anything, but I wonder if like so many ways that we were taught to receive love was based off of like, wasn't based off of our inherent worthiness, but it's based off of how we showed up for other people. So like, if we received love from our parents because we had to act or behave a certain way to get that love, to be approved of in whatever way. So we think we have to do to be worthy to receive. And in reality, it's like you're worthy to receive just because you existed. But if all of our ways of understanding how to receive love came from us having to sacrifice something or sacrifice ourselves to receive it in some way, I feel like you just get kind of indoctrinated and it gets ingrained in you that like, you are not worthy of this thing unless you meet this external thing standard, whether it's a person, whether it's a job, whether it's society, whatever. It's like, you're not worthy unless you meet that standard. In reality, it's like, fuck all that. Like, but I think that's a lot of unprogramming that you have to like actively work at, and also like know the balance of it too. Like, because I feel like the opposite side of that is like entitlement. Yeah. But it's like, where do you play that? That's probably what I'm trying to say is like, I feel like entitlement's here, and I feel like value based on productivity is the other end of that scale, and I feel like I fall too far this way. And then there are times where I can make judgments about people who land somewhere else on that spectrum that just isn't where I'm at. Right. And I'm like, see where you sit there. What does that balance look like? Yeah.
And then that thought is really liberating too, because if you let go of the idea that you have any sort of control over your worthiness, I think it makes times where you maybe feel unworthy a little less heavy. You know, because it's like there is no scale. It just is. So if you feel unworthy, like it's more of a like a you thing. It's not like anyone externally made you unworthy. It's like an internal feeling that you feel. So yeah, I like that. I like that thought a lot.
Yeah. What about like trusting yourself with other people? Yeah. She was gonna shy away from that. I came back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why I struggle with that. I'm trying to like go back to my child Briana and nurture her, give her a lollipop and tell her she's okay. But like, you're okay, baby Briana.
That's real. I give mine a hug. A lollipop would be lit. I might try that.
Yeah, maybe it should be too sugary. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know where that came from, but I just think I always have this sense of like, if I trust this person with this and they don't do it, the disappointment that I feel feels way heavier than me just doing it myself or me like keeping it to myself, you know? And I don't know why that is, because I don't think many people have disappointed me in that way. I don't think so. And I had a conversation with somebody that I care about, and typically I wouldn't have had a conversation like that with this person. And I had to kind of check myself and be like, well, why this narrative that you formed that like you can't trust this person, where did that come from? And I realized like, okay, maybe there was some merit there, but also maybe we didn't fully unpack that situation. And so I decided, let's give it another shot. Let's try it. And it was actually a really, really fruitful conversation. So I think in this season, I have to challenge a lot of these narratives that I've created around my trust issues with people. Because what I'm finding is that either we're both in different seasons of life and we both have grown, which could be true, or that maybe the narrative that I made wasn't the full story.
Ooh. that I feel like that be it 98% of my time.
Yeah.
Is I be looking at people being like, damn, I did have a whole narrative and that shit wasn't accurate at all. Like, I just built that shit in my head.
Yeah.
I
mean, and the first part to that too is like, if I can grow, they can grow.
Come on.
You know, and you have to let people prove you wrong. Prove you right, prove you wrong. Prove you wrong in this situation. I want someone to prove me wrong. You have to let people prove you wrong and give them a chance, because there was versions of myself that I wouldn't probably trust me with a lot of information. So I have to allow people the space to grow and mature.
That's real. I had that conversation with my sister about just us understanding ourselves and our family, and you know, and she made the comment along the lines of like, sometimes I feel as though it's important that just as much as our parents might still see us as kids and our habits that came from kids and be like, well, this person is like this because they've always been like that. But it's like, you're not giving me the grace that I've actually evolved and matured and seen what those habits were and actively changed them, because you have ingrained in your mind what the first 25 years of my life was like. But I might be 35. I'm 34. My sister's closer to 40. She's like, I don't act the same way, and you don't give me that grace. But also, we were talking about how that applies the other direction too. It's like, if we experienced our parents a certain way for a certain amount of time, and now they're trying to show up differently, but we have this concept in our brain of like, no, this is who you are. It's like, I don't always apply the same level of grace around growth and evolution to my family as I do to other people outside of it. And I don't know why that is. I'm wondering if part of it is like, one, I think it's like I feel like family is different because you're literally with them all the time growing up. So how they've solidified who they are in your brain is different probably. But I also think it has something to do with like, for me and my family, just taking more time to have more intentional conversations that are deeper than the surface. Like, we have to have more conversation. My family, my immediate family, we laugh, we play a lot, we play games and all those things a lot, but like, do we always sit and have a deep ass conversation about shit? Not really. And so like, if I'm not having that conversation and building that relationship with who they are now, then part of that is on me. Like, I don't know who you are, you know? So like, I gotta reconstruct. And that's such a, sorry, I know I'm taking a long time, but like, that's such a, to me, I think sometimes when I think about relationships, and we talk about long-term relationships and how people evolve over time. And so when we talk about like romantic relationships, it's like, oh, this person is going to be somebody else in 5 years. You're going to have to relook. And I feel like sometimes that concept seems foreign to me in my head because I haven't done the long-term partnership with somebody for a long time. But I'm like, oh, in reality, that's no different than like the relationships you've had with people over long periods of time. It's like, I have to learn who you are right now. And in 5 years again, I'm going to have to learn who you are right now. And I'm going to have to keep doing that.
The idea of like your parent changing who they are feels very unstable for some reason. Like, I think when we're kids, like, who your parent is to you is so foundational that, like, I mean, because you learn, like, you know, they say your father teaches you how to love. You're like you learn these very foundational things from these people. And so the idea that they also shift and change means that, like, foundationally, there should be some shift and change, which I don't know. For me, that feels like very weird to think about. Like, that my parents aren't the same people that I formed all these narratives about. They're probably not the same people because I'm not the same person. And to your point, I think they've probably formulated a lot of things about me, but they probably don't know who I am. Well, as you were talking, one of the things that I was thinking about is like that saying that's like, when someone shows you who you are, believe them. Where do you stand on that?
I 100% believe that, but I do think it's our job to pay attention to who they're constantly showing us they are. Like, you can show me you are one person right now, and then at some point you may change, but you're going to start showing me who that person is then, and I still have to remake that decision. But I think someone showing you who they are, to me, isn't about who they are long term. It's you're showing me who you are right now. And I think for my experience, I can be quick to think about the potential of who you could be. and make my decisions who I think you could be. Let me say that correctly. And then I base my expectations off of that. When in reality, in this moment, I should base it off of who you actually are right now. And if you change, okay, but that's a new moment that I have to address that. But not, I don't believe, like, when people say, like, once a cheater, always a cheater, I don't necessarily believe that.
Yeah.
Shit, like, I don't think I'm going to always be a cheater. Because a bitch has done her job. She's retiring. No, so, yeah, I think, I don't know, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I think, like, when we have experience with people, that helps, like, guide our decision making. But at the same time, it's like, can you even, is that even quality information? Like, if somebody steals from you, I'm not going to leave my purse around them.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, maybe they're not always going to be a thief. So do I always hide my purse anytime they're around? Or, like, is there a period of time where I can say, okay, like, that happened then, maybe you've changed. Like, I think when people show you who they are, it's their data points to keep you safe.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are always going around being like, well, maybe they changed, then maybe that challenges some form of safety.
I don't question whether you changed. I don't, because you gotta show me that you changed.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So I don't gotta question that shit. I need you to show up different.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm hiding my purse until I start to see changes in your life that would make me think otherwise. But I also, I don't want to stand on that next thought. So let me not say that. But no, I think it's like, my purse is hidden until I feel like you've actually done the work to change, and then maybe I'll take my purse out.
And, like, that person, it's that person's responsibility to prove to you that they have changed. So in the scenario that I was thinking about with the person I talked to, like, I don't know that she ever really did anything to make me feel any different, but I decided to just, like, take the risk and to be honest, like, the conversation was good, but, like, who knows what's gonna happen later on down the line, to be honest with you. But I guess should I have a conversation with people who I maybe felt like misused my trust in some way, or do I just observe them and see if they changed?
I mean, I always talk about having a conversation, you know. Yeah,
you like the conversation. You like the conversation. And I like to avoid it and just be like, well, you know.
But I think that connection is always around emotional vulnerability. And if we want real, good, genuine connection in life, then we got to do it. Yeah. And you are rolling the dice, because emotional vulnerability, you don't have control of outcome. Somebody could disappoint you, and that shit might hurt, but, like, that's kind of just the name of the game in a way.
That's how you have more fruitful relationships. And I think for me, what it came down to, now that we're talking, I wanted to have a more fruitful relationship. And so I was like, you know what? Let's try. If it's not, I'm not losing anything, because I already feel like we don't got one now. So, and if it does, then maybe we are, you know, moving toward what I really want out of this relationship. And so maybe for people who feel like having those conversations, I feel like I'm speaking very abstractly, so if this resonates with you, you know what I'm saying. But, like, people who struggle with having those kind of conversations, like, balance the scale. Like, what do you want from this? And if what you're getting from it is better than what you could potentially be losing, then you know what decision you should make from it.
I think that's real. I'm thinking about it in the context of it, and I'm like, I think that we have some responsibility to build the relationship that we want. And if we try and it's not received, then that is what it is. That's information. And you just got to rock with it. And it may not feel good, but it is what it is. But, like, I struggle sometimes with the fact that I'm like, part of you have a responsibility to this relationship as well. For, if I can complain about what it's not, I have to ask myself, what have I done to be closer to what I want it to be?
Exactly.
And a lot of times, and I'm thinking of the context specifically, it's easier to just let it stay where it is, because we can do the surface level shit and then we can walk away and be whatever. But it's like, I know that this relationship lacks a certain level of connection. And I know it's a certain level of connection that they would want, but I don't think they know me well enough to know how to build it.
So it's on you, I guess.
It's on both of us at the end of the day, but it is on me to have to like open up a little bit more for them to be like, okay, now I understand what type of connection this person needs, so let me try to at least show up. It's like, because I can't fault you for something you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to be a little more honest and vocal and all the things, but it's in the same space. Like I was just going to say, it's hard because I feel like I feel the hardness of it, and I always talk about being overwhelmed with maintaining relationships. But I think part of my overwhelmness is like, I don't know, I want to have deep connection. But deep connection takes time.
And deep work.
It takes intentionality, and it takes focus. And to feel as though I have so many people in my life that I have to create that with, that's probably what feels so overwhelming.
But you know what? I don't know that everyone, for me, I don't want to speak for you, but for me, like, I don't know that I want to have a deep connection with everybody.
I don't want to have it with everybody, but I feel like the number of people I do want to have it with, it just feels like a lot sometimes. Because I feel like my tribe is like pretty big for some weird reason. Not weird, because that sounds like I'm hating on it, but I've always been a little nomadic. Like I've always had like pockets of friends in different spaces. And so that means that there are a lot of people coming from each of these spaces to have these relationships with. And not everybody is going to get the same depth of relationship. That's just the reality of your capacity. But like, I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of people in my life who I think are really dope people that are going to be tribe and community for my life.
Yeah.
And there has to be some level of like connection that is built over time.
I wonder if that comes with, I don't like to always talk about age, but like years of living. Like, because when you're younger, I don't know that you require deep relationships as much. Like I'm thinking about like my friendships in high school. We were talking about that earlier today. Like they were very silly and you know, whatever. But the older I get, the more I require like deeper relationships. And in this season of my life, I feel like I am getting that. I'm getting a lot of deeper connections, but like you said, that requires a lot of work. And I think what the scary part is, like, you're always responsible for your heart, regardless of who you open it up to. And so if you are just going around like, here's my business, you know, that's not smart. I mean, in my opinion, like, that's not the best way to do it. But I think what you said about like opening up a little bit, seeing how they do, opening up a little bit, or maybe if I open up, then you open up, and then we can kind of trust each other that way. But it's hard to do when you're not, especially when you're not used to doing it, and maybe when you didn't need to do it. You know, it's hard.
Yeah, I think we definitely, the younger we are, the more superficial things the more superficial shit that we accept. And then you get older, and I think you just experience that these superficial things don't hold really any weight, and then you want something deeper, but then you got to do the work. I mean, the superficial relationships are there because they weren't a lot of work.
It's easy.
So it was easy.
It's easy. I think about my relationship with you, and I'm like, that means that like when we have hard conversations, we actually have to have hard conversations. And that sucks, because like normally I could be like, oh, it doesn't matter, but then I'm like, dang, like I am low-key in my feelings about this. Like I low-key do need to talk about this. And so like we have to have those conversations, but it makes it us have a more fruitful relationship, which I do feel like I use, and like I don't say I need because I'm in my ego, but I appreciate me. I appreciate it a lot.
I think it also, for me, another challenge is like, we've joked before about me being like cutoff queen. It's like, to me, it's the staying in relationship after you have to like have a harder conversation.
Yeah.
That takes like effort for me.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to like disconnect, especially too within the space of like, if we're using us for example, it's like we both work, we live in separate places, we had our own shit going on. It's very easy to get to just be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go do this other thing, you know. But it's like the doing the work to like get back into connection, which I value the experience of having to do that, because that's still going to play out in like other ways in my life where it's like, you can't just cut everybody off, Brittany. Like,
yeah. And I think that's also part of trusting people, is like letting shit go.
Yeah.
Letting shit go is hard to do, but letting shit go and putting it to bed and trusting the person that they've shown you that they really are when you've had the hard conversation, not the narrative that you created, but like the person that you've been shown who they are, trusting that that's who they really are, and moving forward with that and letting your narrative go. That's tough.
Let that shit go.
Let that shit go.
Let that shit go. All right.
Well, I feel like we did it.
We did that.
We did the episode.
Did the damn thing.
And you did the episode. We are going to jump into a new segment. All right, guys, welcome to a new segment that we don't have a title for. So if you have a title suggestion, please let us know.
Yes, suggest it.
And please suggest it, because we don't have a title. But we wanted to talk more a little bit about like pop culture stuff, because I feel like at the beginning, every time we film, we always talk about something in the news, and it's always like really funny, and we go on for like 45 minutes. But that would be great to talk about here on the podcast. So today, what I wanted to talk about, which is kind of a little bit old news now, but like, oh well, it's still crazy. Did you hear about the nursing scandal where they were giving out fake nursing degrees to people? Hundreds of fake, in the year of COVID 2023 now, a little bit, fake nursing degrees.
That's wild, bro.
I want to add coloring to this because I actually read the article. I've seen the headline for a while. So it was a Haitian woman who was giving out nursing degrees, $15,000 to bypass all this like work, and then she came up with these fake credit. But she was targeting Haitian immigrants. So she was telling them like, hey, if you want to come to the United States, you can do this nursing degree. You have to pay $15,000 and you can have this nursing degree. And then everyone found out it was a scam.
Damn.
And now these people are being forced to either turn over their license or go to jail.
So they
they were given two options.
So I would love to hear how it worked out that somebody did it and then got into a hospital. Like, did the hospital be like, why you don't know nothing? Or like, I want to know, like, how long did somebody fly under the radar of being able to do whatever? Because the other thing, too, is like, there's like a practical, I don't know, like, I feel like when you go to nursing school, there's like the educational portion and then there's the clinical portion. Yeah. And then you get your degree and then you go out there and there's still like a huge learning curve that happens because once you actually get out into the field, whatever. So I'm like, I wonder if somebody was like, did it, got into a hospital and like, I don't know, the doctors or other nurses were just like, dang, this bitch don't know nothing. For real. But they just like, but whatever, and I'm gonna just teach her. And they, whatever.
It sounded like they had some form of coursework, but not like all the like practicing. So they like probably like knew how to talk about it, but they didn't actually know how to practice it. That is just like the most wildest thing, especially if you came here from another country on like a work visa, let's say, and now what you gonna do? Because you go to jail? It's either give your license back or go to jail. I mean. Jeez. 15.
Yeah, I mean, you knew what you was doing when you sent the $15K. Like
$15,000. And it's also really messed up that, like, this person was targeting her own community.
And, I mean, it's also super fucked up because I'm like, yes, there is a lot of money in nursing, 100%. But, like, nurses are just as I don't want to say just as underpaid as teachers. Y'all do get
nurses be in that paper,
but they are underpaid based on what they're being asked of, and they still have a lot of like shitty. There's a lot of being under resourced in like the things you have to work with within your hospital. But it's like it's also the fact that it wasn't like, yo, like you just about to have anybody taking care of me, giving me whatever. Like
that's the other scary part. Like, what sort of hiring process did y'all go through to pick these people? Like, double check. Don't get sick. The moral of the story is don't get sick. But my question for you was, if you could, as a teacher, pay a certain amount of dollars to bypass some of your education and just get a degree, would you do it?
I'm not going to say I would say no. And here's why. I think if you would have asked me at the start of going into the teaching credential, I would have said no. because I would have thought it was going to teach me more than it really did, and it didn't. I think that's different than nursing, because I do feel like all of my friends who went through nursing school, that shit was hard.
That shit's important.
That shit is
learning about
hard
body
as
parts.
fuck. Like, that shit was so hard, and the clinical was so hard. So, like, to me, it's not necessarily an equal comparison, but I feel like I didn't learn to be a good teacher until I had to really get in there and teach. Given there is a portion of your year where you are in the classroom with a master teacher or whatever, even with that, there are aspects of it I learned. There's like certain ways of like structure that I was able to kind of come together with. But overall, like, none of that shit helped when I really got out there and had to teach. And so like now I would say it'd be nice to have just bypassed that and just went straight into like getting into the field. Because to me, I just think like there wasn't anything I learned about like kids and child psychology or whatever. Like, there were things that were probably taught about it, but there was nothing that was useful for specifically the communities that I was working in. So
yeah, I would do the same thing. I kind of have a hot take. While I think the discipline of nursing you should not do that with, I kind of feel like this lady just did what like these universities are already doing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, my degree, my like communications degree, I literally paid for them to give me a piece of paper and me to sit around for 4 years. I literally did all she was doing was expediting the process. Yes. I literally paid, well, I didn't because I got a scholarship, but somebody paid for me to literally get a piece of paper. And like, what's the difference between getting a piece of paper after 4 years and getting a piece of paper after 6 months?
Well, I mean, like, I feel like a lot of scams that are done are just replications of like the scamming that our system does already.
Yes.
Like, I don't think anybody's coming up with some brand new scams that they ain't already seen. And I think that's also the mindset a lot of times when people do, you know, quote unquote illegal activity, which, I mean, by definition, it might be illegal, but there are things that I think are illegal that's a waste of time that are illegal. But it's like, I feel like overall in our country, what frustrates me is like, there's so much focus on like, these scams are terrible and illegal, but it's like, where did they get that model from? Like, this entire system.
It's literally a distilled version of the bigger system.
Absolutely.
Like Aunt Becky, she did the same thing with her kid. Aunt Becky from Full House, not our.
Oh, I was like,
our
what?
Becky.
I was like, wait, do you not have a degree in your job? Why would we say that online?
We're not talking about our producer, Becky. Aunt Becky from Full House did the same thing with her kids. She never at some, like, Ivy League school. She, you know, paid a couple of bands, donated to something little thing, and her kid got a degree. I think it's still different, but...
Got a degree, and then also, but I feel like she already knows, like, get this degree, get this paper so I can get you into these places where I'm already have... It's going to be nepotism the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna use the nepotism to get you into the place, nepotism and money to get you into the place, and then once you got the degree, I can use my nepotism and my money to get you into the job, and you'll figure that shit out when you in there. But which is always why I be like, people be mediocre as fuck. Mediocre as fuck.
Hell.
Because they don't have to do shit for it. Like, and they get there and they the ones be your boss, and we be sitting there working for these people being like, why would you ask me to do this stupid shit, blah, 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 and you're like, oh, I see how you got here.
It makes no sense. And I hate that that's our system, because it's like, if you can afford to buy into the system, then maybe it's a beneficial system. But, like, people who can't afford to be in it, they can barely even, like, make minimum wage. They barely make minimum wage. Like, I think I saw, like, the average household income is, like, $60,000 a year.
Oh, that's higher than I thought it was.
Oh, what do you think it was? Maybe I'm
the average household across America.
Median
I thought it was closer to the high 40s.
Maybe that's even worse. But like, how can you live off of that?
You're not supposed to.
Like, it's just insane.
White supremacy systems and capitalism.
It's insane. So
it cannot run if you're not on the bottom.
Our Haitian queen maybe shouldn't have done that in nursing. I do appreciate what she what she was in the grander scheme trying to do. And that was do something that we're already doing, but put her Haitian people on its head. Was it so bad?
Yes.
You're right. But
Sorry. No, I mean, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
We both agree that in the lane of what it was done in, that's a lot because a lot of people could die.
Not so great.
But if it was something that didn't necessarily affect a lot of other people, I don't really give a fuck. Personally.
And if you're hiring somebody from some online college, like, you're not really expecting them to save a life.
Be fucking for real.
I mean, this was like, I think the school was called like
for nursing.
For nursing.
Okay.
For nursing. For
Like,
nursing.
we not shitting on people who've gone to online
for
college.
nursing. Shout out Fortis, ICDC. I meant for nursing.
DeVry. We
Shout
fuck
out
with
DeVry. Y'all fly a DeVry. I get it. But I'm talking about for nursing. If you're hiring somebody
I'm
with
working
a...
with you again, 'cause at first I was like, God damn.
If you're hiring someone with an online nursing degree, you're probably looking for somebody to, like, push a button. Or, like, you're not going to make them a charge nurse. You're not going to, like... So, was there risk? Maybe a little bit, but think about all those people that got to come to this country. They might go to jail now, but they got to come to this country, and they were making money, good money, I imagine, for however period of time that this scam went on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not huge on having to follow rules for the sake of following rules. So I fuck with it. I fuck with the concept of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I still a lot of people ask, like, is it even possible to get to a certain level in this country without doing something illegal? And I don't know that it is.
Yeah, I'm not at that certain level, so when I get there, I'll let you know. But I don't know that it is either.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think you can get to making good money and not have to do something illegal, but I think there's a numeric threshold and a power threshold that if you want to cross over, you're gonna have to do illegal shit, aka what is already being done for sure.
Scamming, pretty much.
Big scamming energy. That's why I didn't hate the scammers when all the PP shit came out. I was like, y'all just be careful, don't get caught up. But like,
I didn't have the balls to do it. I didn't have the balls to do it. But I did read a post that said, like, the people who got caught up in that, you know, they went to jail for, like, a year or so.
I'm laughing from the episode where you're like, I'd be gay for the stay.
Would I do a year for a milli?
Yeah, but do they have to pay the milli back, though?
Yeah, I don't know. I would think so.
Then, nah, it's not worth it. Unless you had your milli already flipping, bringing in income for you in some other way.
Yeah.
But if I have to pay the milli back, then I don't want to go to jail for that shit. That's lame. Like, let me just pay this shit back.
But
if I was gonna get in and not have to pay that shit back, I would do it. I might do a year for a milli.
365.
And what kind of are they going to, like, federal prison, state prison?
It would probably be like the white
county.
Prison. It wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be like
how many, good behavior.
You might get out early on overcrowding, perhaps.
You know what I'm saying? Do I know somebody that worked there?
Yeah. It depends on what situation I was in. At the time the PPP loans were released, I was not in a position that I felt like I needed to. But if I was like,
I have always said, Bree, you are one difficult situation.
No,
if your personality grew up somewhere else, you for sure be a scamming ass bitch.
I understand why people scam.
Like, if you grew up in, like, Miami, Philly, maybe even Oakland, I don't know. I feel like you would be a little. You have a personality for it.
Because
sure.
I think it's because I think the rules are BS. Like, it's all made up. As someone who has now followed most of the rules, it's fake. It's not real. Like, so why are we punishing people that, like, acknowledge that and do their own thing? Like, I know civil society, sure, but, like,
I mean,
it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, ooh.
I mean, like I said, as long as other people aren't getting harmed physically, as long as that's gonna be problematic. Never mind. I was gonna say as long as Black people specifically are not being harmed. I stand on that though. Then I'm kind of like whatever. Like, it is. Like, I don't know. I just
maybe
like
not stealing. Maybe not stealing money from people. Maybe not that.
Oh, from other people.
Yeah, like, like,
that from the government. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, like that lady that was stealing money from old people.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up. That's messed up. But like, if generally people aren't getting harmed. Like in the nursing scheme, did anyone get harmed?
I mean, I'm sure the patients who had a nurse who didn't know the difference between an anus and a nose cavity probably, yeah.
Not the difference between the anus and the
Right,
nose cavity.
I'm sure. Could you imagine that person trying to put in, what is that thing? Like a catheter or what's a trach or some shit? They will fuck your whole life up. What?
But there are a lot of systems in place within healthcare that don't put the onus on one person. There's, as long as you follow the processes, you can't like really kill someone. Now, if you out here freestyling, grabbing opioids and chopping them up and mixing them, or like if you're doing just whatever, but if these women were like, you know, trying not to kill someone, I feel like they probably didn't.
All you gotta do is get the test, run to the closet, pull up YouTube,
pull up Google.
Get back to the patient.
It might be a hot take, but I don't think it was as bad as
I'm not saying it's no. I would have to look and see
if
anyone died.
If someone died, then I
if
take
not,
it back.
Get your motherfucking bag. How
Get
you
your
gotta
bag,
get
she
it?
got
Get it how you live it.
A couple million. She got a couple of millions off that. She got a couple of millions off that. So I don't know.
It's a country built on pirates. So why would I be mad that somebody was doing some pirate shit? Like whatever.
Yeah, kind of.
Get your bag, I guess.
The whole good and bad thing. Sometimes I'm like, what? It's kind of...
girl, the older I gotten, the more I don't believe in black and white or good and bad. Everything is complex. Everything's gray. I don't even believe people are good or bad. Like it's all.
Now you
complex.
say that, and I feel challenged by that statement. I feel very in the middle about that.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes somebody a bad person?
That's what I don't. But when you say it, it doesn't feel right to say it out loud. But then I'm like, low key.
Yeah.
What makes somebody a bad person? If you kill somebody, you're probably not a good person. But if you kill somebody
that's
killed,
contextual.
Yeah. If you kill somebody that killed your kid, is that bad?
If you even if they didn't do something to you first, it's contextual that whether or not you're a good or bad person. Because I think there's too much context that comes into how you got there. So like, if I just went and let's say I went out tomorrow and I was at the store and I shot somebody and killed them, like, yes, that's a bad action. Like, it's a bad action, but does that negate all of everything I've ever done that wasn't necessarily harmful and now I'm just a bad person? Does that one moment define all of me as a human being? Like, I'm way more complex than that one moment. Do I have consequences for my actions? Absolutely. Do the actions I do have a lot of negative repercussions? Yeah. Was the action itself, I guess, bad or unpleasant or whatever? Yeah. But do I think that person, I could just be like, you're bad? Like, no, I think that we have to, sometimes in our brains, we have to villainize people to make an excuse for us to not have empathy for another human being. And that's why I'm like, I don't think anybody is fully, unless you're demonically possessed your whole life, which I think some of the niggas are not. I don't think anybody is fully a bad person, but I do think you need to have consequences for your actions.
I don't want to go too far on this part, but like, what about Murdoch? The Murdoch.
I was like, what?
How you say that?
Which one we talking about? The whole family or the dad or the brother?
What's the dad's name? Paul? Eric? John?
I mean, that's a whole different conversation.
Like, I feel like he's bad.
I think some white men are demons incarnate. But that is a whole Hotepi concept that I have. But I don't think, would I say he's, again, I don't know that I would call you a bad person, but I'm like, I'm glad you finally, you got what you deserved. Like, you got the day you deserved.
Yeah.
Like,
the consequences caught up to you. Yeah,
but like, I don't know, like, have you done, I don't know.
I would say that he probably wouldn't be considered a good person. That's why I'm like, I don't know. We could go on and on with this. Did it delete? Oh, what just happened?
Yes.
Okay, Brittany, I'm not trying to get
I got an attitude.
I'm not trying to get into my conspiracy, but all I'm saying is we talked about Murdoch, and then all of our stuff went down.
We lost all of our audio for that entire episode.
I don't know
talked about that man being
if this is a demonic attack, or if Amazon, Siri, and Alexa all conspiring against our truth. You know what I'm saying?
Because our third eye is open.
Because although my third eye isn't digital, it's open. It's not digital yet. It's coming. Anyway, so yeah, we lost our audio and we lost a little part of the clip, but it's okay. It's okay. I think we can wrap up here. More of the story is, when we look at scam situations, when we look at people that we might deem as bad, maybe it's an opportunity to look at it in more than one way. Because, like, who's to say who's bad and who's good? Not me. She got an attitude. All right.
I got an attitude.
Oh, well, we'll get it right the next time. This is why we love y'all. Well, this has been another episode of the Occasionally Accountable podcast.
Where the Murdochs hold y'all accountable.
Where the Murdochs hold us accountable. Thank y'all so much for listening. Thanks for rocking with us. As always, don't forget to add us on our socials. We're on Instagram and TikTok at _OA podcast. And we're on YouTube at the Occasionally Accountable podcast. Yeah, I got it right. Yeah, we lost our audio, but I got it right. Okay, you feel me? Thank y'all so much for listening. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Don't forget to tell a friend, and we will catch you with full audio in the next one. Bye.
It's your face. The clear, you're just done.
The over it face.